This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1123 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by EquestrianCollections.com. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip, Glenn the Geek is joined by Canadian event rider Jessica Phoenix to chat about why keeping the fun in your horse's training regimen has big payoffs for trail riders and Olympic-level competitors alike. And we'll get right to our tip after this important shopping tip from EquestrianCollections.com.
Well, I have Debbie back here from Equestrian Collections with the product of the week.
This week I wanted to feature a product that I think you need to get for your 4th of July parties and celebrations. It is the Trail of Painted Ponies Freedom Reigns figurine. I was looking around for something that would be patriotic to remind you guys of, and this is just so cute, and I think it would make an excellent centerpiece for your barbecue. Plus, it's a great collector's piece. Everybody collects those Trails of Painted Ponies stuff. This guy he's kind of painted blue, and he has the American flag on him, Statue of Liberty. There's a little picture of the Capitol building on him. So he's one of those painted ponies that are specific for different, that you would want for different holidays. And I was thinking with the 4th of July coming up that this one would be perfect. And it's less than $50, but not by much. They're not inexpensive, but they are collector's items. So keep that in mind and how pretty this would look on your holiday table.
You can find it just by going to Equestrian Collections, and you can search for Painted Ponies Freedom, and it'll come up, or just search for Painted Ponies, and you can see all the selections there. There's a lot of painted ponies. Well, hi, Jessica, and welcome to Horse Tip Daily. Or I should say welcome back. You've been here a number of times, and you always come out with the best tips. And the one thing I like about your tips is you keep them very simple and easy to understand.
Well, I think that's how we have to approach the horses, because they're pretty simple animals themselves. I think as riders, we typically tend to overcomplicate things for them.
I think we tend to overcomplicate things for ourselves, too.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a life thing. But you're right. And you know, especially if you're a little bit ADD and type A like I am,
yep.
then it even gets worse, because
Sure.
then you're overthinking everything.
For sure.
So with somebody like you who's a professional eventer, do you ever take time to just go out and ride for fun without training or anything else?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think a huge part of training is just keeping it fun and playful for the horses. And that's actually what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. Is every time you get on your horse, you have to think that they're an animal and that they're not a machine, and you can't just get on and sort of drill away at things. So it's so important, and it's an aspect that sometimes overlooked, especially as you get into a competitive season, is you have to keep pulling yourself back and reminding yourself that they're animals. And you have to keep it really fun for them. Like if you can come out and play with them, even if it's just out in their field, like you can play with them in their field and just keep it interesting for them so that every time you're getting them, they don't think of it as work. Because mentally we get pretty demanding of them, and you have to think that they're pretty simple animals. They don't require a lot. So the more playful you can keep everything for them, the better.
I know my wife she used to event also, and one of her cardinal things was that with her eventers, pretty much at any level, she would take them out at least once a week just for a nice, quiet trail ride. No trotting, just walking.
Yep.
Just a nice, quiet trail ride that everybody could enjoy.
Exactly. And I think that's key.
Do you do that as well? With
all levels of the horses.
Yeah.
And just because it's time for them to just decompress a little bit, so that they don't find everything stressful. And
right, so that every time you get on, it becomes an event for them. You know, that's what you're trying to avoid.
Exactly.
But we all know that we all know those type A's, Jessica, who just don't understand that. They just don't get that.
Not me at all, right? Anyone you can ask, they're like, you are a type A personality.
So how often do you recommend? As I said, my wife tried to do that about once a week. I don't know if that's too much or too little.
I think once a week, even if you do it before a dressage school or after a dressage school or in the middle of a dressage school, I think it's really important just to have them go off and just be able to relax and just have fun with your horse.
I think that gets lost sometimes when you're competing too.
I think it's hard. Yeah, it's difficult, and you start thinking about everything that you have to do and accomplish, and you have to get them stronger. And at the end of the day, if they are mentally happy and relaxed, they will do so much more for you.
Right.
Than if you've just hammered away at them.
So you are accomplishing something. You just, it doesn't seem like it at the time.
You're accomplishing, you're accomplishing that bond and that trust, right?
Right.
And I think that's key, is that they have to trust you, and they have to want to work for you. So you have to keep it playful and just go out. And sometimes I do just ride them bareback with a halter. It's just fun for them,
Now, how old were you when you started riding?
This sounds funny, but I got a pony for my first birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was 1 and my sister was 3, and my parents brought us a pony home.
So you were riding from little. Now, were your parents riders, or?
My parents sort of did it as a hobby. They had a little 2-acre horse farm, a little 4-stall barn, and we always just had the horses in the backyard and would just play around with them. And I started riding Western and doing all of the Western gaming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we would trail ride a lot as a family. We actually went on camping trips with our horses.
Oh, that's fun.
And you know what? Even Exploring, who I made the Olympic team with last year, he has gone camping before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get tied to trees, and
well, he's the only 3-star eventing horse that's been camping tied to a tree. I guarantee you that.
And he was like a very high-strung, thoroughbred 4-year-old, and you would be amazed. When we took him there, he was 4, and he was tied to the tree, just like all of the other horses, and he just stood there, and it's amazing how much they relax.
Thank you, Jessica, and we will have you back on again soon.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guest as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of equestriancollections.com and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner right in the center of the page. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.